everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm the other host, Don.
And almost didn't have a show night tonight, boys and girls. Was having technical difficulties, but we made it. We're here. We're on time. And no one cares. Anyway.
Oh, come now. We're almost
but we got a show.
100,000 subscribers. Plenty of people care.
We are. We're getting closer and closer every day, which means that I have to remind you at the top of the show here, if you haven't done so yet, please click that like button, hit subscribe, click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights and Wednesdays with interviews, and you won't be disappointed. We're getting close to that 100,000, and things are going to get great. They're already great, but they'll get better. Hopefully.
Right. Be like the spectacular Spider-Man author, Ben Slott. Be like Ben Slott and give us lots of long-winded comments. We would appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, Dan. Thank you for all the comments. We greatly appreciate it. We got more comments. We'll talk about a little bit. I'm going to try to wind that down some, but it's gotten us comments and clicks and views, so I gotta play up the algorithm, as it were. We're also going to talk about, we got 3 shows to talk about. We got Daredevil Born Again, we've got Invincible, and of course the new show that premiered is Darth Maul. I'm sorry, Maul. Dark Lord, because
formerly
the
Darth,
funny thing about
now just Maul.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call him Darth Maul, but that's true. He's not a Sith anymore. Mm-hmm. But we'll get into all that. We got a tiny bit of news. We got some, like I said, some more Dan Slott stuff to talk about. We got a trailer for Punisher, some Spider-Man news, and a tiny bit of X-Men news that isn't confirmed, but we'll talk about it because Don's on the show, so we got to talk X-Men.
Yes.
Now that being
in the
said,
contract.
It is. It's very much in his contract. All that being said, how are you, sir? How was your week? Anything new and wonderful with you?
I mean, just realizing that we really have just celebrated like the best week in geek content ever with, Maul Shadow Lord, Daredevil, Born Again, Invincible, and to some people, The Boys, which we don't talk about here on this show, which I kind of like because I actually watched that show with my wife, and it's great to not have to keep a pace with it. I digress. Go ahead.
Well, no. You finish up, and then I want to say something about The Boys, but go ahead.
Well, on top of that, of course, the Artemis 2 mission to the moon and stuff was happening in the background, and I know me and one of my daughters watched, the landing, as slow paced and boring as that was. It was still had really cool moments. So it was just a big, great geek week, and it was awesome. So that's how my week has been, buddy. How about yours?
Yeah, no, my week's been good. A lot of things I had to watch for the show. I have I'm tired, Don. Tired again.
You mentioned that, yeah.
I had a crazy weekend. There was way too much packed into the last 24 hours. But before I get to that, I want to mention something again. I know it's hold on, I gotta put something up here.
Here it comes.
So okay, all right. So there was a war, still technically a war in the Middle East, us and Iran. We attacked them, and Trump, our president, whether you like him or not, he's our president. He'd put out this long Truth Social post, whatever they call it, where he's like, oh, they have a deadline till 8:00 on Tuesday, and if they don't meet this deadline, we're gonna wipe them out, which
Mm-hmm.
he did not mean the entire country. He meant wipe out the regime that rules them, but the way it was worded, all these people, especially online, were going crazy. Ah, he's a madman. He's talking about the end of the world. We got to stop him. Oh no, this is disgusting. Blah blah blah. And at the 11th hour, the Iranians said, "Okay, let's have a ceasefire," and they said, and Trump agreed to it. All right, here's the ceasefire. Here are the conditions, and then we'll start negotiations. Which, if you have ever read The Art of the Deal, the book that man wrote, this is a negotiation tactic. It's what he's known for. He was a businessman for many years. Um, this is kind of goes along the lines of the big ask, and it hit the news, and I was like, oh, that's a great thing. I really didn't want like a full blown war. These same people who were screaming and yelling, "Oh no, it's the end of the world. Trump is terrible," starts going, Trump chickened out again. What the fuck, people? Like, no, I've said this before and I will say it again. Unfortunately, we live in a world where it doesn't matter what he does, it's wrong. And it's ridiculous. And it's no way to live. And it's doing is dividing us more and making this country terrible. And it's not the people at the top, it's the people down below who keep doing this crap. All right. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. Look,
Okay, buddy.
if you didn't want war, which I didn't, you should be happy we have a ceasefire going on. End the rant. Sorry. Had to get it off my chest.
Listen, I get all that, man. You just gotta you gotta understand though, a man with nuclear codes threatening annihilate. I mean, that's just like that's like dressing up as Darth Sidious and be like, "Oh no, there's nothing to worry about," So, but was that Captain Obvious? That's right. The media does sensationalize everything. To your point, but that is that one smidge little detail that we can latch on to, and that is a person, the leader of the free world with nuclear codes, is talking about civilization annihilation. That's an L for the old El Trumpe there. But whatever. Politics bore me, so let's move on.
I should be his new nickname, El Trumpe.
El Trumpe. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Stupid.
But I also did, like I said, well, it's just one of those things where the girlfriend and I had to run some errands yesterday. I helped her with do some stuff, and then by the time we got back to her house, she still had some things to do, so we kind of just ordered Indian food and didn't eat till like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I don't like eating that late. People who know me really well know I don't like to eat really late at night. And then, I was like, oh, well, you're sitting there like, oh, well, she when we had gone to Lancaster last week, she had bought like some bacon that she threw in the freezer. She's like, oh, we'll make the bacon and we'll have some eggs and we'll have a nice relaxing morning and blah, blah, blah. And she gets a text from her sister. Oh, I'm going to come by with her oldest daughter and her granddaughter.
Oh yeah,
tomorrow.
You can't break out the bacon for everybody.
Tomorrow at 11. Well, here's the thing. My girlfriend can't stand her niece, and there's reasons behind it, and she didn't want to be there. Plus, the other thing is, her dog is highly protective and aggressive, and he hasn't met the baby yet. And I'm confident he would not harm a baby. But she, doesn't want to take a chance, so she would have to keep him locked upstairs. So she was like, she looks at me and goes, all right, we're getting up early and going. So we got up early and we went out to breakfast and we went to a couple other things, and then I got home and I fell asleep for a little while. hello, Kasan. And I'm like, and that was the thing. I slept later than I wanted to, running around getting things set up, and then like, oh, my microphone wasn't working. I'm like, but it's we're here
Yeah,
now.
that's all you need. Yeah, we're here now.
Like I said, we watched some great TV this week.
Oh yeah.
Uh, let's talk a little about it now. What do we want to talk? Let's talk Invincible first, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Episode 6. Pretty much picks up right where episode 5 ended, which I appreciate. There wasn't like a weird jump in time or anything. Um, However, a lot of time goes by in this episode, right? Um,
Couple
the
months go by. I mean, they do have one um emo montage, emo music montage as they're like kind of winning the Viltrumite War a little bit. So you see that, but yeah, overall it's like 2 months for Mark to
right,
recover from getting his guts ripped out.
right. So you got Oliver, Nolan, and Mark are all stuck on the planet where we all thought, quite logically, like, he's dead. He got his guts ripped out. Um, but Nolan wraps him up, and he's like, he'll heal himself, but we gotta wait here until he heals. And I mean, look, like from a writing standpoint, it works because it's like Oliver and Nolan are now stuck somewhere where they can't leave because they got to take care of
Right.
Mark. So they have to now build a relationship. They have to bond,
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's the whole, and I don't think I've never read the comics, but I've read the character descriptions from the comics, so I know where some of the characters end up. And I know that he's on this big redemption arc, but it's like I'm still like, it's sympathy for the devil. He still did these terrible, terrible things. Um, and yet, you know, they're giving us a whole, they're bonding and
Well,
becoming a
because
father and son.
just because Nolan is irredeemable or undeserving doesn't mean that Oliver wouldn't benefit from having a relationship with his father, as cruddy as his father may be. I can kind of
True,
speak from
true.
personal experience there, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. But with that said, I thought it was clever. They're going to be soldiers in war together,
yeah,
and I think Oliver, the character, benefits from it greatly. For him to not maybe have less baggage when it comes to that. So, to use that, because I appreciate the fact that it was just like, okay, Mark, you're all ready, you're all good now. Let's go. Like, I appreciate they're like, fuck. He's gonna take like months to even gain like
yes,
I
yes.
appreciate that, you know. And I appreciate seeing like that monster that because you get to see like Oliver where they needed to take the eggs from that big bug alien thing, and they end up like
Hmm.
knocking it down, and Nolan goes for the kill, and Oliver's like, no, 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 we don't have to kill it. We can take the eggs. She'll make more eggs, but we don't have to kill her. And yeah, they basically ended up being able to harvest these eggs that they needed to help Mark heal. So I don't know. I thought it was cool.
There's another interesting aspect of their time on the planet. It starts out with Nolan burying Conquest,
Yes.
and Oliver's mad at him. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Well, he was still a Viltrumite. He's still my people." And it's like, so
That
it's a
adds to
subtle
that
way of show,
irredeemable quality.
right? But it also, in a subtle way, shows Nolan's conflict between his, what he was, his
Sure.
people and what he was raised to be, and who he's like trying to become. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because the
like,
fact is, without the Scourge virus, like Nolan would be a loyal ass Viltrumite, you know?
yeah,
Like without them getting screwed and him being put in the position like he wants to be a loyal Viltrumite.
Yeah.
Um, he's just now having this conflict with Mark and Oliver, and you know, so it's an interesting dynamic because he's obviously not the good guy, the main guy of the show,
Right.
but he's there, and he is the father
Um,
of two of the heroes of the show. So there's that.
and then we have in contrast, we do have the war going on with the Resistance and the
Mm-hmm.
Viltrumites, and so Alan and I can't think of her name again. The
Tech
female
Jacket.
Iron Man, Tech Jacket.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Tech
Our
Jacket. I think it's Angela or some shit. Him, Thaddeus, right? Which, by the way, I don't think I've spoke upon this, but now that we get a bunch of it in an episode, I really do love the fact that Thaddeus is voiced by Peter Cullen, who, of course, voices Optimus Prime. So this show is always going
yeah,
to kind of have that pull toward me. But anyway, Thaddeus, not just some like old dude. Yeah, he is a fucking Viltrumite. If Viltrumites do get stronger as they get older, so he's fucking throwing
yeah.
hands. Um,
Well,
yeah.
right before we even get to that, though, right? Like,
MVP though, MVP Space Racer in that fucking gun. What is it called again? The gravity or I can't remember the name of the fucking gun, but that gun, man, is the most valuable thing that they got going on right now. He's just I digress. Go ahead, bud, Dave.
um, you got a little choppy there for a second. But
Oh, I was talking
what
about
I
the
was going to
gun
say,
being MVP. Space
yeah,
Racer.
uh, um, yes, because we had the Alan and Tech Jacket on the ship. They try to escape, and they're trying to get to the convoy, the good guy ships, the resistance ships, and
Mm-hmm.
the same two Viltrumites from before are chasing them, and they're fighting. And then that's one day they show you like they shoots the one guy and it goes right through him and kills him, and it's just like just find all 50 Viltrumites and shoot them, and it's over.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's really it
you
should
know,
be just like a bunch of people formed around Space Racer, like protecting them, and just shoot the bastards one by one. But hey, gotta give
yeah.
respect though to the show, with the Viltrumite dad bods, man. Like that's easy cosplay for somebody like me now that we could do, no problemo. Like
You're
it.
gonna get a white onesie to wear.
Yeah, I'm a Viltrumite. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. I just
Um,
have to keep the mustache. My wife would hate that though. Thankfully.
and it's like you said, they montage you through this war, and they keep
Mm-hmm.
showing the they're like and it's funny. I love how they do the exposition thing where they show the map, and all the red
Yeah.
is where the Viltrumites still have control, and all the blue are where the people are starting to resist. And like then like you see the map throughout the montage, and the blue is growing as they go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was showing like, oh, they're turning the tide or whatever, and then they decide to go attack the planet that the resistance is on. I don't remember the name of the planet. But attack the home base basically where
Yeah.
Optimus Prime is. And
That
we
is
find out
prime.
that the those two weird alien guys that like are at the control panel in front of
Mm-hmm.
the building. One of them, as we had speculated, is the
Yeah.
spy, the turncoat. He lowers the defenses so that they can get in and start attacking. Um,
Yeah.
and and there's a bloody fight. And as you said, um, God, why can't I think of his name? Um, he starts attacking, and you can see how strong he is. He's a Viltrumite, and he's old, but he's strong, and
Oh,
he's
Thaddeus.
throwing
Yeah.
hands, and it's Thaddeus. Yeah, they're having this big bloody battle, and of course, that's also when our three heroes return triumphant. Um, you know. Oh, I also wanted to point out. I thought it's funny. Maybe some people might think it's a little little racist. Um, they're 2 months on the planet, and um, Nolan grows this big full beard, and Mark is growing facial hair, but it's real thin
Mm-hmm.
and blotchy, and it's like,
Okay.
is that because he's Asian?
Yeah.
So
It.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean that's yeah. I haven't heard from Thrawn today, but I know that's one thing that he loves about the show, him being Asian himself. He loves that representation. So yeah, that's absolutely why. So I dig it. It's cool.
okay,
But
cool.
so speaking of Mark, him and Oliver, they do the Captain Marvel from Endgame destroy a ship by flying through it. And this is when I discovered,
Yes,
because I didn't think that the Grand Regent Thrag was there, but he was. It was on that ship. Because yeah, he's
right.
there while it explodes, and the skull of, I guess he carries around the skull of Argyle like some sort of baby blanket. And this brings me to my one kind of point about this topic, Invincible, is there were actually a couple of negative things that I've been seeing getting thrown around online about it. Two major complaints. One that I've shared this ever since I first heard him in the promo, is his voice acting. It's just, I like that guy. That guy is a major actor. He was in The Hobbit as fucking Legolas's dad, King of the Mirkwood Elves.
Yeah,
And he's in other stuff, and I don't really think it fits. So people have been complaining about that, and the animation. They're the quality of the animation. I don't think that. I mean, I agree on the voice acting thing, but I don't know. I'm not a super critic when it comes to animation. I guess I think it's great. But out of all the major shows we're talking about tonight, this is the one that has had some negative online speak, as it were. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't know. Do you have a problem with the animation, or what do you think about Thrag's voice acting, or the fact that they just run tail back to Viltrum as soon as his little skull thing drops 3 meters?
I don't know. I've seen people criticize animation, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
Like, it's almost like they're looking for detail that doesn't exist or something. I don't know. Because that's the thing too, right? Like, you're saying they're complaining about this episode in particular. So why were all the episodes good and this one not good?
right.
I did not notice any difference in the animation. I mean, the only thing I would maybe say is like the stuff on the planet was, but I mean, it was meant to convey a feeling, but it was all
Yeah,
monotone and drab, um so like, but like, that's not a fault of the animation, that's just the color choices for that world. Uh no, the voice acting was fine too. I, I don't know what they're going to. I do think, yeah, like, I was not expecting that they turned tail and run and that they actually left. I was waiting for them, all the Viltrumites, to turn around and like fly back down on the planet and punch it to like destroy it,
yeah,
because they probably could if they wanted to, you know. Which I don't know why they haven't thought of that as an attack strategy in a situation like that, but I'm not the writer.
right.
But I think of Age of Ultron, where they take that city and they fly it up, and they were going to push it down on drop it back down on the planet, and that would have created a giant dust cloud that would have killed everyone. um Same
Yeah, I
concept,
mean,
you
well,
just
yeah, but one of the Viltrumite, like modus operandi is like against. We want to bring, we get rid of chaos and bring order, and so doing that to a planet, I don't think promotes much order. You know, so I could see them
it
not
cut
wanting to just saying, or freeze a planet and just fuck it up. Because
it
Frieza's
cuts
an
the head
overlord.
off of the
I'm doing whatever the
resistance.
fuck I want. Yeah, I mean it does. You know,
Freezes an overlord, that's true. uh
right? Frieza's. I don't give a fuck. If you're a threat, I will eliminate you, and I don't care if that's what you think. Whereas the latter here has got to worry about that a little bit.
So, and then I also found, and then at the end of the episode, when they figure out who the villain or the betrayer is, and she shoots the guy in the head, I'm like, oh crap, he killed him. And then he starts
Yeah.
talking, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, we're dealing with an alien. It's not necessarily where his brain is.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean that's basically the episode. There's 2 more to
What'd
go
you
for the
think of the
season. I don't.
conquest tease? The conquest tease at the end.
Oh,
Did you see that?
that was funny because like
Okay.
they,
Yeah, it was funny.
they they play tense music and they show the grave and they're they're slowly zooming in and then nothing happens. So yeah.
But yeah,
It's,
Thaddeus. Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, it makes you think, but they cut away and they're like, no, we're just fucking with you. But yeah, I guess the last bit is, of course, the big decision at the end of this. Now that the Viltrumites ran, is Thaddeus is like, hey, they're gonna go gather all they have, so let's go there before that happens and kill them. So
yeah, yes,
pretty bold, but good stuff.
good
stuff. Good episode.
Well, I will pose this question, and it's
let's talk about.
I'll pose this question to you
and some comments
and
going.
to the audience.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, and audience.
Super chats welcome.
Is it weird? Is it weird that Mark could have his guts pulled out and yet still be alive and come back to life, and Conquest was choked,
well,
and yet he can't heal and come back to life?
Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and it's not Conquest did not die because he couldn't breathe. He died because Mark was literally like crushing his bones and shit in his neck. And so even if he could breathe, there was like no blood getting to his brain. So his head literally did die. And we have seen where like Viltrumites just chop the head off motherfuckers and they're dead. So that's the only workaround that I could really give you, is that it wasn't out of air thing. It was he completely stopped any blood from getting to his head for an extended period of time. That involves the brain, and if the brain goes, it's. But I don't know how that's any worse than getting his whole fucking head smashed in like Mark did the first time. So,
Right.
I don't know. It's a fantasy world. Like I say about Star Wars, it's space wizards, gravity, and fire and space. So here you are.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can also say that Viltrumite who got shot, like, can he heal?
Right.
Like, so with the ultimate nullifier.
Well, I don't think. No, they cannot. Yeah, I cannot remember the name of that weapon, but what it does, you cannot be. Yeah, that gun is crazy. They should learn. They should focus on making more of those.
They definitely should. All right. The other show that we watched this week, one of the other shows we watched this week, Daredevil Born Again, episode 6. This was a very Bullseye.
You motherfucker! Come on, that's DC.
Same universe, a different universe, same character.
Yeah.
A very
mistaking Deadpool for Deathstroke.
Episode.
I can't really hold it against you. Deathstroke, Deadpool, same person.
Yep, exactly. I mean, so much of the show, the episode starts out with he's in his apartment. He's like having breakfast. They got me right away.
A super nice boy on the block.
They got me right away because New York State of Mind is probably my favorite Billy Joel song.
Oh, okay.
So that's playing in the background, and he's making his breakfast. He says hi to his landlord. He's you're a real nice kid. He goes to the diner and pulls an interesting tactic. He calls up the cops, 911, and says that the Punisher is going into the diner, and of course the anti vigilante task force shows up, and he wipes them out. One of the bloodiest scenes I've ever seen in a TV show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what were you thinking at this point in the show?
Oh, I was thinking this is awesome. Like it's Bullseye and he's doing Bullseye stuff. I don't know. Yeah, he had the face mask on with the subtle Bullseye mark on and everything. Like I was like, okay, this guy is yeah, I mean, I don't know, I was thinking it was awesome. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, my thing is like, oh, he's hunting the task force. Like this
Yeah.
was a trap to kill a bunch of them like quickly, and and then he
Well,
leaves his
he's got
mark on
something
the
against
door
Fisk.
with ketchup.
Yeah. And ketchup.
Yes. Well,
Um,
Fisk's wife, to be clear. So,
yeah. But
um,
you know what? I do remember now though. The other thing I was thinking though is wow, this Bullseye is very powerful compared to, I don't want to say his comic, but I mean I'm like wow, he's really really powerful. And it just made me think of like, then why are they down downgrading Fisk power? I guess we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I was thinking that I was like, whoa, holy crap, okay, this guy is crazy powerful just with the shit he was doing.
yeah, it also made me like
He's like Captain
it
America
made
and
me
Cyclops level of like angle mastery,
yeah. It also made me think like the anti vigilante task force, and I understand, they're a city level group, but they're
Mm-hmm.
really not equipped to go after superpowered vigilantes. Like they're
No.
not. They're just guys in bulletproof jackets with guns. Like they're they don't have any kind of special equipment to go after these guys. Um, like the one vigilante they had captured was the swordsman. Um, and
Right.
who
Right.
they who
Exactly. You have guns. The only guy you could capture uses swords. Yeah.
right, right, exactly. And but even
Not
Bullseye,
fair.
but I mean, because Bullseye, anything he has, he can turn into a
Yeah.
weapon, which like they really show that in this fight. But it's like, yeah, like,
Seems like he could kill somebody with a
and
squishmallow if he had to.
and it's like, none of them, these guys are like, oh, no one thought, oh crap, it's Bullseye, like get out of here and
Yeah, like,
survive.
oh
It's just
hey,
like,
right. Call the
oh, we're gonna get
Avengers.
them. It's like, so yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Of
That
course,
does
then
not make sense.
we also have it's the resistance, I guess. go, going back to the what you call it show, invincible. You got Daredevil and Karen in a room with the people they just saved from the dock in the last
Mm-hmm.
episode, and they're like formulating plans. What can they do? um and the first mate from the boat shows up,
Mm-hmm.
you know and so they get his confession on tape, and they want to get that to a oh no, they need to get a lawyer to come in to witness the it being taped, so it's all nice and legal. And I'm just like, I get it. They want to, Matt at the end of the day is still a lawyer and still wants to operate within the law and do things the right way. But after watching the tribunal against the swordsman, where there was no real trial, it was just, you know, they he was going to be found guilty no
Kangaroo
matter what.
court. Yeah.
Yes. Um, what is Matt going to accomplish with this confession? Um,
Yeah.
but
But
he's
that's
still going
funny
to
that
be.
you
He's still
mentioned
lawyers.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the lawyer part of Matt Murdock because even then, like, he was never outside of his Daredevil costume or his mask in this whole episode. Even during the ASMR parts that he has with his, I can't remember his girlfriend's name in the show. I'm sorry, I know she's been on for a
Karen
while.
Karen
Karen.
Page.
Um, but yeah, I noticed that though. This is another episode again where we don't actually see like Matt Murdock's face. He's steadily as the daredevil, even during these like where we're starting to see kind of the law. But you're right. I don't understand why he has any faith in the the court system at this point, seeing what is being done under Mayor Fisk and with the task force. Yeah. So kangaroo
Yeah.
court.
Um, but they're able to get his partner from the law firm to come and witness the recording. Um, and the backdrop of all that stuff going on, we've got Fisk, which this was weird to me because like there's
Me
no
too.
build up to it really.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Well, me too. And I thought you were going to mention like the whole
Uh,
boxing scene and
yes, yes,
just all that is very weird to
yeah.
me.
There's
Go
no
ahead.
build up to it. All of a sudden in this episode, they're acting like, oh, there's this big hyped fight between
Yeah.
Fisk and this boxer,
Whoever. Yeah.
and yeah, who like no, it's not. It's a nobody. It's not someone who was in the show before was or hyped up or anything. At the
Yeah.
gym where um, Daredevil's father used to train when he was a boxer, and if anyone knows the story, Daredevil is that his father was a boxer. He was found taking money to do dives, and then he didn't wasn't going to do. He wins the fight that he was supposed to take a dive, and the mob goes after him. It's why Matt Murdock ends up getting raised by stick, basically. And anyway, uh, I digress. But it's that gym where he would train is where they're having the fight because the idea is to draw out Daredevil to come to
Yeah.
the fight, or Bullseye, or both. And but to protect, I don't know why I can't think of her name. To protect his wife, he sends her off to a meeting with the governor.
Mm-hmm.
And because he doesn't want her there because it's too high profile, too dangerous. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing is too dangerous.
Shit's gonna pop off.
You're putting
Yeah.
yourself, yeah, you're putting yourself out as bait. And of course, you know, they have the fight. Um, Now so you said you want to talk about this. Like the thing was, it's supposed to be a charity fight. They're not supposed to like really do damage, and he's beating the
Mm-hmm.
crap out of this boxer,
Yeah.
like making him bleed and stuff. And it's like, why?
Yeah. None of that
Like
makes
I get
sense.
you want to win, right? Like I get you want to win because you're Fisk, but in the long run, people are going to say, "Well, look, he beat the crap out of that guy." Like you're going to look bad in the long run, I think. You know, the whole I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to wear a mouth guard because he's never going to lay a hand on me. Like I don't know. It was a little
Yeah.
over the top for me.
I agree. It was a
Yeah,
little over the top. I'm not getting like the ragey Wilson Fisk. And of course, they kind of add to that with the conclusion of this scene. But yeah, I don't understand. Like, they would never let a mayor be any sort of boxing match, charity or otherwise. And there would be immediate multiple red flags going off in a lot of people's brains if they were sitting there watching the mayor of a city just waylay this motherfucker.
yeah,
Because he does not look young. He doesn't look young. So there's no
no,
way that this should be happening. Maybe it could be staged, but you certainly wouldn't believe that that staging of a fight would result in the person that's taking, the fall to be bludgeoned to near death and bleeding and shit. So it did, yeah.
right,
None of this makes sense. None of it.
yeah, no, and then of course, who shows up? Not Daredevil, at least not at first. Bullseye shows up. Bullseye. I did it again. Oh no, it is Bullseye.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Deadshot. No, Bullseye.
Mm.
And just starts wrecking all of the guards. Again, showing that like he's unstoppable. He can use anything as a weapon. He's killing all these guys. And uh, there's all this back and forth. Chaos ensues. But like, I'm sorry, before he showed up, I'm sorry, Fisk's wife comes back early after he wins the quote unquote fight, and she's like going into the ring so she can like, be with her husband champion for this charity fight. And he's like
Yeah.
going, I told you not to come here, and she's like, oh, but now it's a better picture opportunity, you with your wife. It's just like, wow, ego.
Yeah.
Ego does you in. Because then while that's going on, that is when Bullseye shows up and starts wrecking all the guards, starts killing everyone. Vanessa, that's the character's name.
Yeah.
But like
This was really
Bullseye's
kind
not
of
there for.
dumb.
Yeah,
When
Bullseye's not.
Bullseye he
Okay.
throws that glass castle at Fisk, and then so Fisk hits it with this newly acquired belt that he just got from his charity boxing match in which he nearly killed a guy. When he hits it with his belt, part of the shards hit Vanessa in the head, and I'm
Yes.
presuming it killed her because there was a lot of blood. But all of this because Vanessa had a conversation with another character. I can't remember, but she basically like, Wilson Fisk is crazy and all that, but I bring out the best of him, so I should make sure and do that. Well, now he's watching her die. So the implication is that he's just going to go ape shit now, which seems cool to me. Seems cool to me.
No,
I do love
agree.
this episode because it's just Daredevil and Bullseye and Kingpin just doing shit. So, as much as I'm saying the whole boxing thing doesn't make sense, I can't say that I've read a whole lot of comic books where I've been like, that makes logical sense. So I don't care. It's Daredevil, Bullseye, and Kingpin doing shit, and I love it.
No, I agree. Because like, it's easy to argue that like he threw it at physics. If Fisk hit it with the belt, it wouldn't have had enough force to like embed in her head the way it does. Like, logically it probably wouldn't have worked. It doesn't make sense, but it's a cool shot for TV, right? Because like that's the whole thing. He hits it, you think she's safe. Daredevil shows up, they're fighting, in the fight they end up getting knocked out of the window, out onto the street, and Fisk is standing there, raging, and you hear Vanessa go, Wilson, and he turns around and she's standing there at first. You don't realize anything's wrong, and then she turns and you slowly see that there's a piece of glass sticking out of her temple and there's a lot of blood gushing out of it. And then she falls over. He's yelling for someone to get an ambulance, and Bullseye and Daredevil are out on the street and they run away. And that's basically the episode, right? So the implication is that she dies there, and then so he's gonna like be out of control, after this. There's nothing to rein him in at this point. He's gonna really be the bull in the china shop going forward. But there's something in that scene that's been pointed out online, and I think they're stretching.
Okay.
But I included the article. I don't know if you saw it in the email. Someone posted this on social media, and the shot of Bullseye's running away and Daredevil's getting up, and you're looking in the broken window of the gym, and the way that it's shaped, and you can just see it's all black except for two lights that are hanging, in the fluorescent lights, and it looks like the Watcher's eyes. So the people are trying to say, "Oh, that was the Watcher making an appearance in the show."
Yeah,
Do
they
you
do
think
that.
that's a
That's the
stretch?
thing. I can't say that it's a stretch. It is possible. What do you think though, Dave? You don't think it was? Because I've seen a
I
lot of
don't know. I
things
feel
that swear that that's exactly what that is. I haven't sourced them
I don't
correctly,
know.
so I'm not gonna tell. But it looked like it.
It
He's
does
popped
look
up
like
other
it a
places,
little.
right?
He's only really been in yeah, he's I mean, he's been in animated series stuff. He's been kind of hinted here and there. Um I don't know. I feel like if they're going to do it, they really need to commit to it and like superimpose an outline of his face there or something. But um I don't know. We'll see. It's also like the Watcher in the comics shows up to watch important moments, you know, big changing moments in the MCU, and I don't think a low level fight between Bullseye and Daredevil and Fisk is a big enough moment for the Watcher to show up. But I could be wrong. Maybe there's implications of what happened there to the future of the MCU. You know, who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
So
What
I
do you
don't
think?
know.
Let
Three
us
more
know in the
episodes.
comments.
Yeah, yeah. That exactly. Let us know down
Is
below
that the
what
one?
you think. Was it the Watcher? Um, and yeah, 3 more episodes to go. Let's see how this ends. I have a feeling it's going to be setting up the next couple big things in the MCU by the time we get to the end of the season.
Do you
So
think we could possibly get? Okay, well, so Jessica Jones hasn't shown up yet, right? And she's gonna, right? It's
no,
pretty much been no.
she
Do you
is,
think we
and
could?
that's. I mean, God,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Do you think we could possibly get like a big hitter Avengers or Spider-Man cameo, or do you at some point before the season ends, or do you think that the only cameos that we get are going to be relegated to Jessica Jones, Punisher, somebody like that?
Well, they've claimed Punisher isn't even in the season at all. I don't know. I call bullshit because why is the Punisher movie coming out right as the show ends? Like they have to be tied
Yeah,
together. I think he shows up maybe in the last episode. Um and the only other character that you kind of think would show up that could tie everything together would be Spider-Man, you know? Um so because no one else at this point makes sense. No one else is really in New York, you know. Cap's an old man somewhere. Tony's dead. Um, Hawkeye's on a farm somewhere. So it's like, you know, oh, I guess Bruce Banner's teaching at Empire State. Um,
yeah,
we know that from the Spider-Man trailer. So maybe the Hulk could show up. That would be interesting. That would be really interesting. Um, actually, no, wait. Let me actually take a step back. There is a cameo that could happen, and there's kind of like maybe uh setting something up. The new Avengers could show up.
yeah, yeah,
They're in Avengers Tower, um, and they even though they don't really work for the CIA, they kind of still, probably have ties with them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
with Madam Hydra. Madam Hydra has already been name dropped in the show, so could they be the ones that go and like arrest Fisk at the end of the season? That's a possibility, I think. So, I mean, heck, I have to say that too, and it's always been the problem with Marvel in general is not only did they create a shared universe where all the characters live in the same universe, they all are in New York. So when shit's popping off, you're like, why are other heroes not getting involved? Like, how can you, you know, and it's I'm gonna say this, it's the base problem with this show that no one is talking about. What is the difference between a vigilante and a superhero in the Marvel
Yeah.
universe here? Right? Like, you're calling Daredevil a vigilante because he wears a mask and he works outside the law. But how is he like different than Spider-Man or Captain America? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you can argue Cap was a soldier and was government property and all that stuff, but but at the same time, though, it's like, seriously, like,
Well,
he is
the
technically a
problem is,
vigilante too.
yeah. Well, the problem though, the other problem, I guess, is the fact that this Kingpin Wilson Fisk is the mayor of New York. You think at
Yeah,
some point, like Nick Fury would intervene and be like,
yeah,
Deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
and get rid of Fisk. Like, there's no way he would let any of that happen. So that is a thing. I mean, I think they've done it in the comics too. Because New York, that's why I love New York Comic Con. I mean, you can be like, oh, San Diego Comic Con is the biggest Comic Con, blah, 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 whatever. But hey, I love Marvel Comics, and all the Marvel comic cool shit happens in New York. New York is like superhero city in my eyes. So that's why I love New York Comic Con and like the fact that we can go to it.
yeah.
I
It's
digress. Go ahead.
it's also one of the reasons, like, unfortunately, they have to use characters like the Swordsman and White Tiger,
Yeah.
um, because the greater MCU doesn't care about those characters right now. So, so you know what I'm saying? Like, if Spider-Man was involved and he got hurt, some of the Avengers might
Yeah.
show up and help. But apparently they don't care. But you're right. Like, like, I don't know. There's got to be somebody that's looking at what's going on and being like, this isn't right. This isn't. So I don't know. We'll see. I think, yeah, I think if we're going to get a cameo, it's going to be New Avengers by the end of the season. So besides
They
Jessica
are
Jones,
doing it in
she's in the
Marvel
trailer.
Rivals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's only got so many more
She's in the.
episodes left.
I said this. I said this last week. I have this feeling that she's going to be in one episode. They made a big deal about her coming back, and they're going to put her in one episode. And it's like, jerks.
That's how you do that.
So, all right. Well, that's what we think of Daredevil Born Again so far. You guys let us know in the comments down below. Are you watching it? What do you think? Are you loving it like we are? And we're going to get to the news. But before we do that, here's a quick message from our good friend, Dark Dawn.
Darth Dawn here. You must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated gundog named Brie Larson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
All right. I'm realizing I think it's me. I'm like, I'm not choppy, am I? but like
No.
everything, it might be my internet connection. So we'll keep going. All right, let's get to some news. Alrighty. Let's we're gonna just do this real quick, Don, because there's no
Real
need to
quick.
keep going. Yeah, we talked about Dan Slott, quote unquote begging fans for attention. I mean to buy his books. We're begging for attention. We put the clip out, he responded. We talked about his response last week, which then I clipped again, put out. I also even did a short around it. He responded to the clip with a really long clip,
Mhm.
words. I'm not going to read all of what he said, but you know, I mean, it's funny too because he made a comment about why are you why is oh look who showed up. Well, kid, you're in luck. Agitated pre-Larsons are our specialty. Hello, Thrawn. We were just talking about a minute ago. Anyway, I was saying is he's like, why am I screaming in the thumbnail for this video? And it's like, because you know, it looked funny. I'm screaming too.
Right.
You're in the middle
know
and you
the
kind of
game. Yeah.
you're between us and you kind of it kind of looks like we're fighting over you. So, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course, you know, again, I said I basically was just saying it's all in good fun. And then he also commented on the short. And he said word of mouth, talking about allowing word, if it's good, word of mouth will get people to in the stores to buy the books. He says word of mouth on issue 1 won't help a 5-issue book. The catalog that retailers order from is 3 months from now. What that means, retailers order the first 3 issues of a book blind. They can only course correct by the time they have to order the 4th issue. By then it's too late. Which then I say that is that's a fault. That's a design flaw, right? Like
Yeah.
if they've got to order 3 months in advance and they don't know if a book's going to sell or not, like that's a design flaw, which means that for 3 months the publisher should be advertising the hell out of that book, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I replied, I said, thank you for the comment again. We'd love to have you on the show to have a friendly discussion on this issue. To which he replied, you sure you'd want me? I mean, I think I've been nothing but straightforward and polite, but elsewhere online, you guys are saying we're at war. And he did an emoji of like a tongue sticking out. So I get it. He meant that in good fun. And I replied, no war, conversation on the industry. I'll admit there's a bit of sensationalism to get clicks, but would love to pick your brain on comics. We would be nice, I promise. So Don, put your hand up with me. Do you swear that you would be nice if we got Dan Slott on the show?
Yeah, that's easy. I certainly
I
would. So I have no reason not to be nice. I would be a great honor for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Dan. So we're gonna clip this and put this out. And again, this is our plea to have you come on the show, and we'll talk about this. I think it would be a great show. You can reach out to me. It's either Dave at superheroespeak.com or Dave's WB at hotmail.com. You can get either email. We'll set something up. We'll have you on the show. It'll be a great conversation. I swear We'll pick your brain about comics, about the industry, about what I see as a design flaw. Like seriously, if the publisher isn't promoting the heck out of the book, like how do retailers know to go ahead?
Well, that really is a problem. That super legitimate. If Dan Slott really is just trying to point out the fact that you're telling me that as a retailer, if a number 1 and number 2 of a book and the number 3 of a book sells like crazy, and then everyone in my shop is talking about how good it is, that I can't call or email or somebody to say, hey, I'd like to order 400 more issue 4. You're saying that's not possible, but because the way the ordering's done, then yeah, that's a problem for everybody. Like a retailer, a publisher, they should have that ability in 2026, where if something is selling well, that they can pump out more or fulfill more orders. In this day and age, with economy and business in general, if it's hard to me, it's hard to believe that you don't have that versatility, and if you don't, it's a problem.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, and that's the thing too. And if you're going to design it that way, then you should be promoting the garbage out of that book beforehand. And I'm not talking not just a couple articles in online publications and putting stuff on your website. Like you need to like find shows like this and have have us do 3 months of ads talking about Dan Slott's book or whatever. Like you've got to do it. You've got to reach the audiences where they are, um and yeah, like I don't think they are. Like I remember years ago going into shops and seeing things like little printouts hanging up that was like told you what was coming out, like if you wanted to pre-order stuff or get this on your pull list, those kinds of things. And I don't see that anymore. Like I don't know what's coming out. I have to go to good.
But I will tell you, we are proving to be somewhat of a powerful show here. We got Chuck Dixon, Dan Slott in our comments. The industry is listening. But
we know Rob Liefeld hates me.
Rob Liefeld, but Marvel may be listening to us, because remember in our interview at Rich Dueck, I complained that why are we not getting like comic book advertisements on our Disney Plus shows and stuff that tell us, hey, this writer's doing this series. But then I watched Daredevil, and sure enough, right at the beginning, okay, so you know where I'm going with this. It's like, hey, check out the comics that inspired this series. And I'm like, okay. Like,
there's a QR code. Yep.
Somebody's listening. So they need to do more of that. I guess is my and Marvel is listening is superhero speak.
Marvel, you're listening. Number one, send any creator our way that you would like us to interview to get people excited about your books. And 2, send us money and we will advertise the crap out of your books. For months and months to get people to read them, because this is where the fans are, right?
That's right.
So again, I will again end this with sincerely, Dan, we would love to have you on the show, and put this all to bed and have a conversation about this and pick your brain about Spider-Man, of course. Like what do you see as the future of the character? Are you happy with the current state of the character in the comics? And what do you think about the relationship with Mary Jane? I'm a proponent of they did Spider-Man dirty by erasing the marriage, and they keep teasing us to bring it back. So I know there's people at Marvel who think it's a great idea. I don't know. So you let us know. Again, I'm sure we're going to clip this. I'm sure you're going to talk about it. Come on the show. It'll be fun. All right. Was that desperate enough? Speaking of Marvel, and that's
just the right amount of desperate, I think.
Speaking of Marvel and desperation, we got a trailer for Punisher: One Last Kill, streaming May 14th on Disney Plus, and It's interesting, right? Like, we're not going to show it because I don't want to get copyright struck. But if you haven't gone and seen it, go out and go check it out. If you have seen it, I mean, it doesn't. Here's the thing: it's a teaser. It doesn't tell you anything about what the story is. You see
Yeah,
Frank; he's got a full beard now. Did he have a full beard in season 1 of Born Again? I don't think he
I
did.
don't remember.
Okay. But I mean, he looks like he's, a little disheveled. He's in a room, an empty room by himself, but it looks like he's seeing ghosts of people, maybe from his unit, from, from the past, ghosts of his past, basically.
Hmm.
There's a voiceover where you hear like a friend, I guess, talking to him, and you do hear like at one point them say like, you know, do you think you can be forgiven for the things you've done? He's like, I think I can, but Frank, nah, there's no way,
Yeah.
And um they show a fire starting, and like it's crawling up him, and then he runs out the door. Like, that was a weird choice too, I think. I mean, you'd have to see the movie to see what's going on, right? But
Yeah, I
he
mean, for
runs
all
out.
we know, he could have been in a toilet paper factory in Ontario, California. With all that fire. We'll have to see. Got him with that one.
You're
Um,
terrible. But like, and then they also show him like running around. He's fighting all these guys. You keep hearing, "Is that all you got?" Playing over and over again.
yeah,
You see him rescue this little girl, but it almost feels like, it doesn't feel like he's in America. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel like he's in America. It feels like he's in a third world country where there's like
mm,
soldiers, guerrilla warfare going on, and soldiers like doing things in the city or in this town that they shouldn't be doing, and like he's there, fighting these soldiers to save this kid. But again, this could also be a flashback to when he was a soldier, right? And maybe he did things when he was a soldier that this is a flashback to. I don't know. Like, again, the trailer doesn't
yeah,
tell you much. But
yeah.
did you get that
One.
feel? Yeah.
Well, the thought I had about that was, because I don't remember. So, in the comics, Frank Castle is a veteran of the Vietnam War.
Right, right.
I currently MCU Frank Castle. I'm not remembering what war he is a veteran of.
It's
I would have to guess it was the Gulf
yes, yeah.
Desert Shield or something like that.
Afghanistan,
But
whatever, yeah. Post
yeah,
9/11.
um, but we've also done stuff, in South America, Nicaragua, and all that jazz that we'll never even know about. So
Right,
I
right.
did kind of wonder if it was some sort of flashback from his service time.
It definitely comes off
So
that way. Yeah.
yeah, but it's a very short trailer, not a lot of context put into it, so
No.
I couldn't glean much from it myself.
No, agreed. It's
Other than it
it,
wasn't going to be rainbows and sunshine, but it's a fucking Punisher show, so if you expect that,
I
you
and
haven't done your research.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because like the trailer ends on on a shot of it's an overhead shot, and he points the gun at the camera and pulls the trigger, and like, yeah, you expect that from the Punisher, but you don't
Yeah.
expect that from Disney on a Disney Plus show, right? Like,
I mean, you
and
don't, man, but look at Daredevil. I mean, you got the fucking
yeah.
Deadpool movies on there, so that cherry has been burst, so to speak.
So here,
I think they're in the bloody game.
but I bring it up because there has been comments online. There's been controversy, as it were, of people complaining, saying, um, after watching the trailer, like, why isn't this going to be in the theaters? Why is this going to be just a special on Disney Plus. And I feel there's two reasons for it, and they're kind of related. One, Marvel doesn't have faith in Marvel/Disney doesn't have faith in a Punisher movie doing well in the theater. And two, I think because we have had R-rated superhero movies, but I think Disney is afraid to be associated with an R-rated superhero movie. And this obviously would be R-rated. You know, if they were going to make a movie out of it, they would go full bore, make it R-rated. And I don't think Disney wants to do that. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there is enough hardcore Punisher fans to justify having this huge budgeted Hollywood blockbuster movie made for the character. I think it's been tried, and it's not like I've ever heard of a Punisher movie being bad. They're usually pretty good, but not like Hollywood blockbusters. And that's pretty on brand for the character. The Punisher's cool. He's a major character, but I don't even know if I wouldn't put him in the A tier. Probably B tier.
No,
the concept is cooler than like stories of the character in my eyes. Just me.
No, and he's had books that have come and been canceled quite a few times. You know, there was Punisher War Journal. There was one other one, I can't remember what it was, but like the Punisher's one of those. It's like shown up, had a run and disappeared. You know, there's quite a few characters like that. Hulk is one of the best examples. Like he's one of the characters who's endured but has not had a continual run on his book since his inception. And the Punisher's another one, like, because it's I'm gonna say I didn't get to my thing I wanted to say about The Boys, but it's one of the reasons I don't watch The Boys, because I got tired of there's no one I can really root for on this show. Like everyone's bad, everyone's dark, everything's gray. You know, it was just it got to be too much for me, and I couldn't handle it. So like same thing here, right? Like I can't remember where I was going. You know, but like you don't know who to root for. So it makes it difficult. Before we move on, I wanted to say that. So you said you're a Boys fan, right? You and your wife watch it, right?
Yeah, it's something that I watch with the wife, but there are things about it that I'm like, perpetual everyone is shitty, just like you just said there. It's hard to find somebody to root for. You know, we've had seasons that have ended with Homelander whacking his pud, on the top of a building. So it's, giant dicks in a house full of orgies. Like James Burton is saying here, James Burton says, I don't watch The Boys because it isn't redeeming. I watch superheroes to aspire, not wallow. That's actually perfectly said. Now, obviously, I do watch it. But again, for me, superheroes are more of an aspiration than this deconstruction, of the genre.
Right. So we're on the same page. It's why we don't really watch the show. But there's a huge controversy this season. I'm sure you've seen stuff about this online. I mean, you're watching the show. You're aware. Starlight, is that the character's name? Erin Moriarty shows up this season, and she doesn't look anything like she did previously. Yeah. Apparently she's had a lot of plastic surgery. She's trying to deny it, but like, I mean, she doesn't even look like the same person anymore. So did you notice it, and like, did it take you out of the show at all?
It doesn't take me out of the show, but it's definitely noticeable. I think a very questionable choice. I mean, not that anybody cares about my critique of their looks, but I didn't think she
Right.
was like crazy beautiful anyway. But she was still more beautiful than she is now. You know, looks like I don't know, somebody like
Oh,
over liposuctioned her or something.
yeah.
Or some
No, no,
horror
I agree.
movie where someone sticks a vacuum in her or some shit. Like it's not great.
She definitely looked better. I mean, looking at the pictures and the amount of work she had done, I think. I mean, I don't, I don't know, and I hate to say stuff like this, but I feel like, oh, Thrawn said, "Isn't Butcher the real villain anyway?" I feel like, uh, there's something not right upstairs. If you get that much work done, like you're not happy with yourself, and plastic surgery isn't the answer. Like you got to talk to someone. So,
You know.
um, but like everyone's talking about it, and a lot of the fans are unhappy with it. Um, and I find it interesting, right? Because I have actually heard some shows, some movies, well, maybe not movies, but some shows and stuff like will have clauses in contracts um for actors and actresses where like you can't get tattoos while the show's going on. Like because it doesn't like if it
Oh,
doesn't make
sure.
sense for the character, they don't want you to get a tattoo and they don't have to spend the money to like cover it up every time.
Well,
I'm
also the
shocked there isn't a
editing.
yeah. I am shocked that there isn't a clause like while you're on this show, no plastic surgery. Unless you're in a horrific car accident and you have to have reconstructive surgery, but
Yeah.
like no plastic surgery.
Of course, if that happens, you
So
can just be like George Lucas and write it into your story. Um, you know,
true.
Mark Hamill had
I don't
a pretty bad accident between Star
yeah,
Wars
but
movies.
I don't think he looked that different afterwards. Like there's a difference,
No,
but it's
no,
not
he
like
really just had a little bit of a thing. But
yeah,
you know, you wouldn't think that you would have to do that because like what was wrong with her before? Why would she have, so
yeah,
I guess I could see it both ways. Like how are they to predict that someone that looks, good would go that crazy?
yeah. I mean, I thought she was more attractive before the plastic surgery, not
So, so
you
we
know.
have a bit of a debate. I guess we're back on the boys here as far as like who's the villain. We got Thrawn Kill who says Butcher, and then we got James Burton who says Homelander. Um, that's an interesting dynamic because obviously Homelander is just horrific, right? There's a little
Yeah.
bit
Oh
of
yeah.
something that you can sympathize with him because they did basically make him and torture him and all that jazz. But then there's Butcher,
Yeah.
and the thing about him is he was all like anti-soup, but now he's one of them. And his power, the whole black, gross-looking tentacles thing. That's just not a great look. Like it's Morlock level. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a question of his integrity there. I guess, but Homelander is atrocious though, just absolutely atrocious. Anyway, we got back
Yeah.
on the boys though. That's crazy. Um,
Well, we're tangentially talking about the boys because I'm not watching
yes,
it. So um
tangentially, I like that. I like that.
all right. Well, then let's get back on to Marvel. Our
Yes,
our last couple of Marvel articles here. Um, so and it's funny, I included this because I saw a couple articles where they were like, "Oh, Spider-Man: Brand New Day takes place after, um, what you call it, Doomsday," and like it was everywhere. I'm like, how does that make any sense? Why in the timeline? Why would you have Brand New
yeah,
Day come out and then Doomsday be after it? And here, that rumor started because Regal on their website uh I guess where you can pre-order tickets, had
Mm-hmm.
the description up, but the description was old. It was from like a couple years ago that was originally sent out, and it starts out with after the events of Doomsday, because originally I believe Doomsday was supposed to come out before Brand New Day, and then that has gotten
Yeah.
flipped. So they put that on their website and had all these people on the internet going, "Oh, Brand New Day takes place after Doomsday." It's like, oh, thank God, because Marvel has come out and said, and it's been corrected, and it's like, no, no, no. Because thank God, I hate when they do stuff like that. Like, oh, well, this actually takes place after this, because it doesn't make any sense. So, um, did you see any of those articles, or was it just me?
Yeah, I saw a couple of them, but it is what it is. It's that's on the same level as like you know, superhero toy spoilers. People derive
Yeah,
who's going to be in a movie because there was an accidental image leak of a toy. It's like that's just a gross amount of attention to pay to this genre here. And so yeah, like you said, it was an old description when the timeline of the movies coming out were different. So somebody just didn't think to remove it, which is a human error. That could happen to anybody.
yeah,
But yeah, that's what happens on the internet blogosphere, though. It will set off some sort of response in whatever corner of the internet really cares about that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's true, and I am shocked that it got that far, because, like, a again, you're right. Like, it kicks off articles. People are more worried about being first than being right. Like, no one looked
Hmm.
into it. No one reached out to Regal and said, "Oh, why does your description say this? Did you get this from Marvel?" Like, they just ran with it, and the blogosphere was full of all these people going, "Oh, yay, yeah, yeah." But the other thing is, I'm shocked that Regal did this, because I would have to think there is like there's got to be a contract that, like, um before you put copy on it, has to be approved, has to be double checked by a representative. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a mistake, but it's weird that it got that far, when you're dealing with multi-billion dollar corporations, that they would make a mistake like this, that had the fans all in a tizzy.
Listen, I have learned that the amount of money a corporation makes is in no way an indicator of their intelligence or prowess in said business.
Agreed. Agreed. And I speak as somebody who worked in the oil industry.
Yeah.
um and God, the things I could tell you. um so yeah, I don't know, are you one of those people of the blogosphere that has to be first rather than being right? And what do you think as a fan? Do you think this hurts us, or just gives us something to talk about for a couple days? Then it's like, that was wrong.
Hmm.
um who knows? Let us know in the comments down below, though, because comments is loving, or sharing is caring. Anyway, uh
Either way.
Odessa Ozion. uh I have not seen anything that this woman is in, but the current rumor, and I will uh stress this is a rumor, is in talks to play Rogue in the MCU. So this is the first real news of any kind that we have, of someone specifically being cast. I mean, other than Sadie Sink,
Yeah.
if it does turn out that she is Jean Grey, she will be the first official X-Men in the MCU.
Hmm.
Um, but uh, this will be the second, if this turns out to be true. Um, and it's funny. The reason I brought this article up is then it proves that you know I was wrong. The girl in the Brand New Day trailer with the hair is not Rogue. If this is true. Um, But are you familiar with the actress, and do you think she would be a good Rogue? Because apparently people are online are loving the idea.
I'm not familiar at all. So looking at her, give her a gray streak, take her nose ring out or whatever that thing's called. If she can speak with a southern accent, I could see it. It's very 90s, late 80s Rogue with the curly poofy hair. So
Yeah,
I mean, as long as she can
she's
pull off the southern accent,
got a
then
lot of hair.
Well, that sure, but so does Rogue.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's funny because like people who are familiar with her are saying it's a great choice. I haven't seen any of the stuff that she's been in a couple shows. And apparently like again the people who've seen her like, oh, this is a great casting. So we'll see. It's interesting that the first people being cast are possibly Jean Grey. We'll find out shortly. In a couple months when we go see the movie, and then Rogue. No talk yet of Professor X or Magneto.
Yeah. Well, the rumor has it is that they're going for Chris Claremont X-Men, which means they're playing.
Okay.
Which means I think they're skipping the original 5, or at least. I mean, again, we could always get a 15-minute montage on the original X-Men. And it makes sense because the X-Men comics died. They were then revived with the giant size X-Men.
Size, yeah.
There's no reason to force a concept for history's sake that did ultimately fail. So I do believe that they will do a giant size Chris Claremont Uncanny X-Men style.
Didn't they basically do those X-Men in the first movies? It is that is basically it's Wolverine, Rogue, Storm. Like it is that era X-Men. We didn't. It's not full Chris Claremont phase, right? Because you don't have Colossus, you don't have
no Nightcrawler, no Colossus,
just cameos of those. Yeah. But
they're
I mean,
their ages were all fucked up, and that's something they're going to have to deal with, because if they're going to say, oh, the original 5 X-Men, but I don't think they can, because if we're getting introduced to Jean Grey in the next Spider-Man movie, then that means she definitely didn't exist in the 1960s. So
yeah, and yeah, exactly.
We might not even get that.
Well, think about it though, right? Because if you're going Chris Claremont, then
Iceman, they're going to have Iceman, and they can't have him being some 60-year-old dude.
Yeah, but wait, but you don't. That's the thing. You don't have those guys in the Chris Claremont in the giant size X-Men era. I mean, they're there, but they're not part of the team. So that makes me wonder as well.
Well,
because the movies were a hybrid of different storylines, right? Because you had Jean Grey and Cyclops, who really weren't a part of that team. Yeah.
To me, when you say Chris Claremont X-Men, I mean, you're going to have Wolverine. That's one reason why they really can't go to the original 5, because it doesn't have Wolverine. So you're just not going to fucking do that in an X-Men content.
Not at this point, no. And besides, Hugh Jackman's going to play him until he's dead.
Yeah. And most of your Chris Claremont drama is going to come from Cyclops and Jean Grey and Wolverine anyway.
Yeah.
So, that's what we'll get. Everyone else will be superfluous outside of Magneto and Professor X.
Yeah, hold on. I want to see something here. Just want to. I'm curious. I'm doing this on my phone too because anytime I open another browser, everything gets choppy, and so it is on my end.
Oh, you need to reset your router.
Probably. Okay, so Giant Size X-Men #1 is okay.
It's not
So
Claremont.
assembled
It's
by
Cockrum.
Professor
Go ahead.
is assembled by Professor X to rescue the original X-Men. That's what the story was. And it's Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Banshee, Thunderbird, and Sunfire, which
And
they
Krakoa
haven't
let
done.
Cyclops go to get the original X-Men so they could bring back more mutants for him to feed off of.
Right. And they haven't done Thunderbird in
No,
live action.
but Thunderbird is gonna be tough. Gonna be tough.
Why is that?
Because he dies very early on in the
Oh, that's
comic.
true.
In the comics, he's an a-hole. So when he dies, you're not even that sad. But yet he is a Native American. And they deal with that whole aspect way better with his brother, Warpath, John Proudstar. But anywho, it's just weird because there's two of the same person, but they're brothers, and I will see. They could try it, man, but that's going to be a weird one.
Thrawn says you're Krakoaing me up.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean it's funny too because that's one of those things. I would love to do a whole episode on what storylines you can't, quote unquote, can't do today from the comics because like you bring a Native American in, but make him an a-hole and kill him off quickly. Like, is that going to be a controversial thing?
And everyone's kind of racist on that team a little bit, not like toward African Americans, but like toward each other. Like everyone call it, Rusky and all that.
Yeah, but that's of its time, and that's also has to do with the undertone of the X-Men about civil rights and racism. Like, so it works and it makes sense. But yeah, you try to do that today, and it's like, I don't know about that.
Like Colossus says, by Lenin's ghost. Like, people don't even know who you're referring to.
I want Omega Red. As an X-Men fan, what do you think of Omega Red?
Yeah, I love Omega Red. Because it's an interesting story. He's an interesting character, and it's a great way to bring Colossus in the mix. So
true.
Since they're both Russian.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like though Omega Red is a lot of ways the a remnant of the Cold War, so it's like,
oh, absolutely.
So we'll see.
But he's also like the like Wolverine is the ultimate solution to Omega Red. I won't say ultimate, but like the only solution to Omega Red because he can just like drain your fucking life force. Wolverine though, with his healing factor, is able to kind of get around that. So that's why him and Wolverine beef is because Wolverine's one of the only mutants that can kind of resist just getting fucking drained, dropped. And he's in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which makes you memorable. So Vanadium Splicer. Yeah.
Sometimes you want to be drained though. You need to empty out. Oh, anyway. All right. Well, what do you guys think? You watch this after the fact, or if whatever. Let us know in those comments down below. Which X-Men do you want to see in the first MCU X-Men movie? Should it be Claremont era X-Men? Should it be the originals? Should it be a hybrid? Should it just be X Force. Who knows? You guys let us know in those comments, and maybe we'll discuss it on the next episode. All right, well that's it. That's the end of the show, right there, Don. Are we gonna got nothing else to talk about?
You son of a bitch. You know goddamn well. I don't care if we've been doing this for an hour 40 minutes already.
I'm tired. I'm tired.
In fact,
Don.
you made me happy because you made this the main thing. So I'm like, oh, okay. I thought maybe we were just going to touch on it a little bit, but I'm like, but no, I'm here for it. So yeah, it'll be on tomorrow if you're watching this live. Maul Mondays, I call them now, right? I mean, I get it. It's a 6-day-old subject at this point, so I mean, I can probably make this fast if you really are tired, Dave, because there's not a whole lot to say, but I do have some things I can fire off.
All right. So obviously, we got the premiere this week of Maul Shadow Lord. Because somehow Maul survived being chopped in half.
Okay, great. I'm going to break in right there because one of my main points, Dave. One of my main points is I'm so thankful for Dave Filoni here and Kathleen Kennedy because Maul, and I touched on this in the review a little bit. Darth Maul had a very tough job since inception, and that was to follow up the badassery that was Darth Vader. And he does this successfully, so much so that even after he was killed, he was only supposed to be in one movie and die off.
Yeah.
But his character is so badass, so impactful, so legendary that he was revived and nobody questioned it. Okay. So Darth Maul does actually prevail over Darth Sidious in a way, as in he is able to return, and it is way better than there's no somehow Maul return. No, it's, hey, Maul was on a junk planet. The dark side formed him into this like junk spider thing where he went insane for a couple of years, but his brother went on this big quest to find him, and now that's why he's alive. And he went to Dathomir, where Mother Talzin gave him new and better robot legs and healed his mind. So now he's actually the badass Darth Maul. But now he knows he can never be a Darth again. But he's like, hey, I'm still badass Maul and fuck Sidious, so I'm going to be a crime lord syndicate. This all before the somehow Palpatine returns. So Maul successfully returns in a way that doesn't make people want to puke. Darth Sidious returns in fucking Fortnite. Maul with the win over his master, Darth Sidious. But seriously, it does actually make me annoyed at the somehow Palpatine return thing, because Dave Filoni did already have a good blueprint on how the fuck you bring a character back because he's just so badass. But they still decided, nope, Fortnite somehow Palpatine returned. That'll do it. Package ship it. Like I'm okay with it because the legacy books, you know that you kind of know how that shit works. But without the legacy knowledge, you get what you got. There we go. So,
okay, wow, I triggered something there.
I love Darth Maul, and it's just I love Dave Filoni, and he did a great job. And so how they fucked that up with Darth Sidious, I'll never know.
All right, so back on track. I was going to say, for people who don't know, yes, he was obviously, people who just watch the movies don't know any of this stuff. He was killed in the Phantom Menace, or appeared to be. He was chopped in half, as you explained. He became a spider thing. There's a big whole long story in the Clone Wars where, long story short, he becomes
his brother. Sorry, I thought that's what.
There's a big whole long storyline where he becomes the ruler of Mandalore, wields the dark saber.
Not only does he wield the dark saber, sorry, triggered something else, sorry, but like everybody else, like Bo-Katan Kryze, Din Djarin, everyone, who was Moff Gideon, when they all wield the dark saber, It's the only weapon it's like the one fucking thing they have. It's like the coolest fucking weapon in their arsenal. It's Darth Maul's offhand weapon. Just had to throw that out there.
Thrawn says it's Palpatine's white galaxy privilege.
Damn
That's
straight.
Terrible. It's terrible, Thrawn.
Damn straight.
So let me talk now before I
Yeah.
trigger you again. So he becomes the leader of Mandalore. Oh, well, okay. Hold on. I want to point something out here. This is a funny thing. So the argument is if you defeat the person with the saber, you become the wielder of the saber and thus the leader of Mandalore. And there is an argument that Ahsoka defeated Maul, so then she should have been the leader of Mandalore, and thus, but then Ahsoka was beat by Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader was beaten by Luke Skywalker, so Luke Skywalker is the true leader of Mandalore. But anyway, I saw that somewhere today. I'm like, oh god.
Okay.
That's
well, I don't
crazy.
want to be that actually guy, but
But you are.
When did Vader beat Ahsoka? I mean, so that's where that one gets a little weak, but okay, I get it.
He did. There was they fought each other in.
Yeah, they did. I'm wonderfully aware of what you're talking about, and that was not a win-loss situation per se, I guess, in my mind. But okay.
Well,
I guess. See, I see. Why ruin the joke? I should have just shut up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, too bad you didn't have glasses on to go. Well, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, but I digress. So he had a what was it's not called the Shadow Syndicate in the Clone Wars. It's the Red something Syndicate. Where
it's a Shadow Collective now, and now I think it was a Shadow Syndicate. It's a Shadow Collective now, but Shadow Syndicate then, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so it's basically an underworld crime syndicate he has going. He's the leader of it. He gets betrayed by some of the people involved in it, and he still has Mandalorians loyal to him. So basically, this show takes place, and I did see this explained that it takes place like shortly after Palpatine says he's he declares the Empire, and does the Order 66. So like this is right after that. It's not like so many years like that basically just happened. Which like knowing that while watching the show, it makes sense with some of the stuff that's going on in the show. But like they're saying, so this fills in the gaps of like how did he go from where he was to where he ends up? Like, okay, fine. So that's the backstory. And the first episode an hour and the second episode like a half hour, or am I crazy?
No, they were both half hour.
They're both half hour.
Yeah,
I don't know why I felt like the first one was longer. So we're on a planet. What's the name of the planet?
I can't remember. It's random Star Wars.
It's a random Star Wars planet, but it's a planet we've never been on in Star Wars. Obviously, it's people always try to go, oh, it's this and that, blah blah. But it was created for the show. I'm pretty sure. But I'm going to say this about the show right off the bat. It's got a really cool feel to it. It is definitely got a Blade Runner feel going on this planet. And what people don't realize is that it's not straight computer animation for the whole thing. A lot of the backgrounds were painted on glass by the show animator. He wanted a particular feel for the show, so he painted these on glass and for these backgrounds. They also did matte paintings, the kinds that they did for like the one of the best examples is what you call it in shoot, my mind just went blank. In Return of the Jedi, when Emperor Palpatine shows up and there's all those stormtroopers waiting, and Darth Vader meets them and whatever. Like that's a matte painting. Like there weren't that many
Yeah.
extras for that scene. They're doing that kind of, so that's what matte painting is. It's a classic movie thing to do. So hello, Battle Beast. Mark and Nolan are that way. We already talked about Invincible. And
Glad to have you though. Thanks for the comment.
So the animation is beautiful. But I would describe the show as I said, Blade Runner meets buddy cop. Like a buddy cop genre meets dark noir meets Star Wars. I don't know. What do you think? Am I crazy? Like that's the feel. Like this is definitely not your mother's Star Wars. Like this has got a different feel than anything they've done before.
Well, and that is because I agree with you. It's stunning. I love when Darth Maul swings his blade. It looks like it's almost on fire, almost as if he's using an unstable crystal for his lightsaber. But who knows? Could just be artistic direction. Read something about that when he swings his blade, the sound actually it contains Sam Withers' scream, which is fun. But no, it's absolutely beautiful, and I love it because Darth Maul, his express purpose, I already talked about. Well, he has to follow Vader. Well, how do you follow the most iconic villain ever in cinema? You make somebody that's even better at looking cool and doing spectacular shit. And that's what this show is. It's hey, Darth Maul, everybody loves him. You love the look, you love his fighting style. So here we go, balls to the wall. It's not one of those shows where it's like, yeah, Maul Shadow Lord, and he shows up and does a little dialogue for 5 minutes a show. No. No. This show is all Darth Maul just looking cool, fighting like a boss. And I'm here for it because I absolutely agree. We all know how this ends, but guess what? Not everybody saw Rebels. As much as I like to be the Star Wars snob and say, well, actually, in Rebels, but let's face it, not everybody watched it. But even if they did, this is such a cool character that there's still some story we can fit in between where we last left off with him and where he dies. So what the hell? And it's awesome.
So yeah, and I think they've introduced quite a few interesting characters. There's, of course, Mandalorians that are working with him.
Yep, his robot, his apprentice, who we've seen. She's probably going to be that Darth Talon. She'll probably dye her skin red and get her own Sith tattoos. But that's an interesting aspect of the show.
Well, is she like?
You don't know for sure.
You're jumping 5 steps ahead.
I am.
What I was going to say is that, so first we've got Lawson and Two Boots, which is a funny name for a droid on a Star Wars show, but like, so they're the cops, on this planet, who are investigating what's going on. And
but don't want to bring in the ISB, even though they've got a confirmed laser sword wielder.
So. Yeah, it's funny because I saw people latching on to them saying laser sword, but it's like, first off, George Lucas called them laser swords whenever he talked about them. And
Anakin called it a laser sword, episode 1.
I was about to say, I was about to say, and they've used the term in both Anakin and Luke have called it a laser sword in the movie. So it's like,
If I go
whatever.
get my M4, my Colt M4 carbine and show it on camera and ask you guys what it is, you're going to type AR-15. So, potato, potato.
Exactly. But they're like, he's the gritty Lawson is the gritty beat cop who doesn't play by the rules kind of thing, and they definitely show that. And Two Boots is like the clever robot who is voiced by one of my favorite British comedic actors, Richard Ayoade. And if you've never watched the British sitcom The IT Crowd, go watch it. It's extremely funny, and he's like the lead in that show. And so it's The Office before The Office, but anyway.
Yeah.
And I think he might have been in the British version of The Office, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, I digress. So what do you think of those two characters and what they bring to the show?
I mean, they bring a perspective, I guess. But as you can tell by my response, they're not like breakout characters for me. They're just kind of plot devices or whatever.
Yeah.
They giving us a point of view from the regular person, I guess.
They're the two characters that are going to move the plot along a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And so, and then we've got I can't remember the as you said, Maul's apprentice. And then you've got what you call it,
and her master. So they're obviously Jedis that survived Order 66, and now they're laying low.
Yeah, they're Jedis that survived 66, which I really appreciate, because they do this, and who knows, they're probably, at least the master might not survive to the end of the series, which is fine. But that's one of the things I've always said is, how come there aren't more Jedi hiding around? There was a message that was sent out that was like, run and go into hiding. They weren't all on Coruscant. And I'm sure all the locations of all the Jedi wasn't known,
they
at
weren't
that moment.
All generals that commanded battalions of clone troopers that then turned around and killed them. So, yeah.
I'm sure there were Jedi that were that did the paperwork and stuff.
Right.
So yeah. So I mean, and it's funny because then when you introduce the characters, the Padawan wants to steal some food, and the master's like, no, you can't do that. He's still trying to be the good Jedi guy, and she's like, well, our whole thing went to crap, so let's get some food.
Unless I can make some Force chicken nuggets, I'm gonna starve.
And of course she gets caught, she gets arrested, and Lawson puts her in jail, and the master's like, oh, we'll figure this out, kind of thing. But that's important, for the plot of this, probably going to be one of the driving things in the series, is because then later on, he's breaking out the other crime syndicate guy from jail. We haven't even gotten to him yet. But when he's in the prison, he sees her, Maul, and he's like, oh, he rescues her as well,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to more of that in a second, but there's a lot that goes on in these two episodes. There's so many little things. It's very fast paced. I guess that's one of the other things that's kind of good about
it. Really is. Yeah, it really is fast paced, because at the end of the day, Dave, a lot of these threads and all that, but it really just comes down to this show. It's just going to be a vehicle for Maul to do cool shit, kill people, and kill
Yeah.
crime lords, so you don't care about the fact that he's killing people. And that's that. Just I'm here for it.
Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Which one's Marek? Is that the
I don't
that's
know.
the see, you don't even know all their names.
No, I don't.
Okay. So uh um well he's voiced by AJ, uh the voice of Gambit. So that's cool.
Oh, Ocasio. Okay.
Yes.
Who is it then? Now that you're looking,
Oh, hold on. Let me go back to that.
is that the Jedi Master?
Marek?
The smoke guy? Says Thrawn?
Oh no, he's a force sensitive inquisitor. Oh, so his character hasn't shown up yet.
Oh,
First
nice. But I'll
brother.
be looking.
He's the first
Oh,
brother.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right, so
Nice.
he
All
hasn't
right.
shown up yet. Sorry, I'm looking at the cast. All right. So anyway, so the let's just get through this quickly because it is getting really late.
I've got everything off
smoke-
my chest, so it's great. I love it.
the smoke guy. Oh god, I wasn't paying attention to the comments. So
Next one's
well,
tomorrow, which is awesome.
yes, yeah, you're right. Like, so we'll like because I think that's the most interesting concept. So he captures this he keeps calling her a Jedi. She's still has a master, so she's technically a Padawan, but we won't get into that. He captures her and brings her back. But that's one of the interesting things about the show is like he's now trying to turn her to make her his apprentice.
Yeah.
You know, because he wants to use her to go after the people that betrayed her. Which is funny because his ultimate person that he wants to go after obviously is Obi-Wan. But I have a question in general, and it's just like the future of how this show would go. Could you see him also trying to go after Sidious?
No.
Who no?
No. Because in the 6th season of Clone Wars, he was with his brother, and they were the head of Death Watch. I mean, they were at the height of their power and their criminal organization. And Sidious just had a fucking enough, and he hopped in a ship and he beat the brakes off them boys. I mean, he had Maul begging. It's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, if you really want to see, people that don't believe that Sidious is like good with lightsabers and shit, check out his fight with Darth Maul in Savage Opress. It is
Okay.
that dude is fucking crazy. So no, I'm Maul is thoroughly convinced that without a lot of fucking help, hence why he's willing to try to work with Ahsoka and stuff, that he doesn't want the Emperor's smoke at all.
I was gonna say, because I think there's a theory, some fans are saying this online, is that they would like to see Maul versus Vader. And I could see that happening if he tries to go after Sidious. I could see Vader protecting Sidious. So
that would be cool. The only time I've ever seen that is in a comic book. I remember seeing it in Walmart, where to punish Vader, this was before Maul was officially revived, so no longer canon, I'm pretty sure. But either way, it was cool to like punish Vader. He cloned and revived Maul basically, and had him fight. And Maul was like taunting him the whole time and pretty much winning the fight. But then Maul had him in a chokehold, right, with his double-ended lightsaber. So Vader was in front of him, and then Maul's talking shit about him, and he's like, "How you gonna win? What are you gonna do?" And Vader's like, "Well, here's how I'm gonna win. I hate myself the most." And he ignites his own lightsaber through himself and went through Maul, and it killed him. I always thought that was a cool fight and a cool concept. So I would
Wow.
absolutely love to see an actual Maul versus Vader fight. That would be a great conclusion to the series because, again, we all know how Maul ends when he comes up against Obi-Wan. So that would be absolutely spectacular. And yes, you know what, Thrawn, thank you for reminding me. Yes, Merrick, yes, I do remember now. That's cool. I did not realize that. Awesome. Way to go, AJ. But yeah, I would love to see a Maul versus Vader on my TV.
And then the only other real, like, I mean, there's other ancillary characters, but the only other real two main characters are Maul's right hand person, which is the one Mandalorian in the red armor,
Mm-hmm.
and
his two other
like
Zabrak guys, the one with the big gun. I can't remember their names. They have names. I saw a Funko Pop of one today while I was working. But I still can't remember their names. But yeah, the
that
two
you
Zabrak
considered buying.
brothers. Actually, there was the Darth Maul one that I did consider buying. I probably am going to buy it actually. But yeah.
And then of course there's the other syndicate guy who's helping Maul, giving he's
With the robot suit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, had the robot suit.
Sounds like he's played by Steve Buscemi, but I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think it is, but it's whoever it is doing a very good Steve Buscemi imitation. Yeah. I agree there. So yeah, who is like obviously only helping Maul because
he doesn't want to die.
He doesn't want to die, helps him go after the Pike, and he kills all the guys on that ship, and then because there's a Pike who is one of the ones that betrayed Maul in the Clone Wars, so obviously he's going after him. So yeah, I mean, to me, the most interesting aspect is him trying to draw the young Jedi down the dark path and become his apprentice, and I'm curious where that leads. Because all the other stuff is, as you said, like it's just a vehicle to show Darth Maul doing cool stuff. Like he's just out for revenge on the people that betrayed him and rebuilding his crime syndicate. And like so like at the end of the day, let's be completely honest, a lot of the stuff going on isn't important or compelling, but him trying to get this apprentice, I think, is where the character stuff is and where the compelling stuff is.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
everything else is just, let's just give a reason for Maul to have to fucking chop these dudes up. And then,
yeah. I think one of the other cool aspects
with the Padawan
is it comes off like, if you've watched cop shows, it comes off as like a like when you the jurisdiction thing or the taking over your investigation, like you don't want to bring the feds in because we're doing a local investigation.
Come in and say, this is my jurisdiction, and then the local cop will say, you don't know a damn thing about this town. I don't give a damn about your jurisdiction. Yeah.
So the Two Boots says a couple times like, oh, we should call the Empire in to help us out with this investigation, and Lawson's like no, like let's not call them in, which I think shows two things. Like it is that aspect of like, I don't want the feds to come in and take over my investigation. Also, the Empire just came into power basically, so people don't trust
and
them
he said if we let them know, they're going to lock this planet down.
Right.
So
exactly.
They don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be like in real life, it would be like local cops finding out there's like a terrorist and they don't want to bring in. They call the military, and the military comes in and they lock down the whole town. And they
Yeah.
don't want that to happen, so they're trying to like figure this out before like it becomes a real problem. Um, so it's interesting.
But watch out, because things could get out of hand. The Empire find out and then question why you didn't let them know. And then all of a sudden, you're on the other side.
I guarantee. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, this one thing I watched where they were breaking down the show, and it made sense, is that Lawson's and Maul's goals right now are aligned. They're going after the syndicate guys and trying to stop them. Maul's just trying to kill them. And they both don't want the Empire involved in what's going on. So, like, and they've already kind of showed that Lawson's kind of like morally ambiguous. So I could see them teaming up, against the Empire. And obviously, we just found out First Brother is, so Inquisitors are going to come in. Obviously, the Jedi are going to attract the Inquisitors. Someone's gonna say, "Oh, we saw laser swords." It might even be Two Boots, like,
could be,
gets frustrated and calls in the Empire.
Yep.
I definitely feel like that's where they're going with it. So, see, and that's where you can sit there and say, well, and if Vader finds out Maul is alive and there, he would have a personal interest in going and finding it. But I also saw another argument where it was like, well, but if this is right after Revenge of the Sith, let's say, then Vader's still trying to go get his red crystal. So
it's true.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be in it at all because of that. So we'll see. So yeah, I mean, God, this was a long one. And we didn't get into too much detail because it's late, but I think, I think we both liked the show, right? You said 10 out of 10.
Oh, I love this show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. I did a review. I'll do another review tomorrow. It's the highest rated Star Wars show in a while. So it's definitely not receiving any hate, which I enjoy because, the Star Wars fandom can be a little bit finicky, but glad that we're all just enjoying this for what it is.
Thrawn says the floating droid in Maul reminds me of Cad Bane. Yeah, that droid's also kind of cool. The little spy drone that like Maul has to go in and do stuff.
Yeah,
he's a fun little character. He's kind of an evil R2D2.
Yeah,
where R2D2 kind of does everything, and it is the true star of the movies. I think this little droid is one of the true stars of this show. So.
He's got more of a Chopper attitude, though, and you may not be familiar with Chopper from Rebels.
No, I know who Chopper is.
Kind of got a hard line, hard edge to him. He'll flip you off.
Yes, he will. So, all right. Well, let's. I mean, I'm not. It's too early for me to say 10 out of 10. I'm not as much of a Star Wars loyalist as you. I love Star Wars, but like, we'll keep going. Right now, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10, but we'll see as it keeps going, because it could go up, it could go down. Who knows? They might do something in this show that's like, ugh, somehow Palpatine returned. Anyway, so that's what we think so far this show.
Okay.
Maybe we got it right. Maybe we got it wrong. You let us know in those comments down below. So, all right. Well, on that note, I think it's time, Don. It's time for that question.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
So tell me, Don, what did you learn? You got any recommendations or both?
I learned that we got us a new subscriber, so thank you for subscribing. Sorry, getting late. Caleb and Chase TV. So sound like that's another YouTube channel.
Yep.
So commenting. As far as recommendations, I mean, yeah, everything. This was a great week. Haven't watched The Boys yet, but I'm sure that'll be good. Make sure you're watching Maul tomorrow. Maul Mondays. Come on now. What other things make you look forward to Mondays? I mean, they're really doing the impossible with this character. Great job. Maul Mondays.
I guess if you had a standing thing with like your wife or your girlfriend or your partner and like to have sex every Monday, that would be something to look forward to.
It
But yeah,
absolutely would be.
other than that, yeah, it's Maul. I learned that that we got a lot of stuff to do, and I'm actually contemplating on some minor changes. I'll have to think about this and we'll figure it out. Like, because as we're approaching 100,000 subs, I would like to find ways to generate more content for the show or for the channel, and maybe us trying to get together at different times and doing shorter videos like this, just talking about that episode on that day. So Mole on Mondays and Daredevil on Tuesdays. And I know it's difficult with schedules and all, but maybe try to figure something like that out. Keep doing what you were doing though until I figure it out, where just do a quick video on Monday. It got a lot of views, so that was a good thing. So we're figuring out. We'll let you know. Recommendations, yeah, just keep watching all of that. Keep watching this channel for our thoughts, comments, and critiques. And on that note, boys and girls, we've done it. We reached the end. So as always, thanks for watching. Don't let you keep caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit our merch store.